Telling a guy to man up is the same as telling a woman to get back in the kitchen. Hi, my name is Tori. Welcome to Commentori, where I talk even when no one is listening. So today we're going to be reacting to Reddit unpopular opinions, because Reddit grimy. Like, Reddit ever have something to say. People on Reddit ever have something to say. And trust me, when I was going through like half of these, y'all didn't miss a beat at all. But unfortunately, we can't react to all of them today. So if you want a part 2, I will gladly do a part 2. So what I realize in these opinions is that you guys, you get this space to say what you have to say, and trust me, half of the time you deliver. So I got all of these from the r/Reddit unpopular opinion subreddit, where people just spread their unpopular opinions. And one of the rules that they have was actually do not share a popular opinion or something like that, obviously because unpopular opinions. But I think that some of these are popular though, if you really think about it. I was going to put a disclaimer on this video, but people's opinions, not really mine. So on each unpopular opinion, I'll be putting like the username on it, so you guys can check them out on Reddit, as well as the Reddit, the what you call it, the subreddit Reddit. I'm not a Reddit person, but follow me on Reddit, and if I get enough followers, maybe I'll use Reddit. Who knows. So the first one says that media should be punished more for spreading false information or not complying with the press code. Yeah, well, that's a sensible opinion, because if the media is going to like cover a story, and the story then, as a matter of fact, firstly, if you're going to cover something, or if you're going to say something, fact check, because people can sue you for defamation of infamy. What you call it? Because people can sue for defamation of character. So your job as the media, the first thing you should do is fact check things. And I think that persons in the media who don't comply to those rules or whatever, they should be punished. It's just the truth. Yeah, and also the not complying with the press code thing. If you have a job and they have rules in the job, follow those rules. Simple. And if they're not followed, either get fired, either get delayed, either get punishment. I think that if you're in the job, especially the media, any job at all, as a matter of fact, if you fail to comply to a certain rule or regulation, you should be fired or you should be punished for that behavior. Social media was one of the worst things humans have created. So shameless self-promo here. Last week I did a video about the dangers, the positives and the negatives of social media. I recommend you watch, because when I tell you I worked in all honesty, social media may not be all good and all bad. Like all things in this world, you have to strike a balance and find some ways to use social media safely. Most social media platforms have a mute button, block button, unfollow button. Use them to your advantage. Anyways, but as it relates to this statement, I don't think that social media is one of the worst things. Maybe it has its negative parts to it, just like anything else. Yeah, social media is kind of bad as it relates to our mental, physical health, but we have to learn how to use it, and we have to learn how to like control our usage, or else it's just going to become like one of the worst things. We see it right now. Everybody labels, most people labels especially Twitter, as such a toxic place. I'm on Twitter, so I obviously know that social media is one of the worst things, but in some cases it really is. But most times social media helps a lot of people, like through e-commerce, spreading information and stuff. So I think that it has the worst parts, but then again, I can't discredit it, because social media has helped me a lot, as well as other people. If it weren't for YouTube right now, I wouldn't be here even speaking to you guys. So it has its negatives to it too, but we have to find a balance, a middle ground. And maybe it is one of the worst things, maybe it is not, but not entirely like one of the worst things. The buff teenagers played by 20-year-olds are incredibly detrimental to teenagers' self-esteem. Well, I kind of believe that in a sense, because we see it on the media right now. Not saying that adults can play teenager roles, but they have to really like look the part, or else it would be detrimental to a teenager's self-esteem. The physique of an adult is totally different from a teenager's, and most of the times we see it in those shows. Those adults do not portray teenagers, none at all. So I believe that when they see those type of stuff in shows, like these big adults being looking as teenagers and they look like this and they don't look like that, of course it can hurt person's self-esteem, because in all honesty, in movies they don't portray teenagers or some characters as how they look in real life. Just the truth. Telling a guy to man up is the same as telling a woman to get back in the kitchen. Well, to some extent, because telling a man to man up is basically saying that he should not be able to express his emotional thoughts, and telling a woman to get back in the kitchen puts women in the stereotype that, hey woman, stay at your yard, hey woman, go in the kitchen. Basically you're trying to stereotype both genders. Telling men to man up, they should show emotions. Telling women to get back in the kitchen is just basically telling them that you're a part of the stereotype and you cannot get out. So I think that those two are basically the same thing. Kids who succeed academically deserve scholarships more than kids who are good at sports. No, I will stop that right here. I don't think that just because you're academically accurate or that you deserve scholarships over people who are better at sports. Not even sports, extracurricular activities. Because you do have some people who are book smart, and then you have people who are, what do you call that, extracurricular smart. Let me explain. So if you are in a sports club, right, and like basketball is your thing rather than your book, not saying that one should overweigh the other. I think if you have an extracurricular hobby, you should have that aside with your education, but I don't think that you should defer the person who is not book smart just because they're not book smart. There are some persons who are book smart, and there are some persons that work better in the extracurricular area, and I don't think that the person who is not book smart should be overlooked or isn't deserving of scholarships, because half of the times, 9 times out of 10, the person who has the extracurricular activity will be more likely to get a job, will be more likely to succeed. And this is what I've been hearing, like some people saying that when you're applying for a scholarship, some people look at the grades and whatever, but others look at what you can do, what kind of attributes you have besides getting an A, getting straight A's for the year, being student of the year. They look at how are you in your community, how do you behave within yourself. So I don't think that just because you're book smart or academically advanced that you deserve the advantage over other people. You don't need to love your career, you just need to be able to tolerate it so you can finance what you love. Don't find fulfillment in your career, find fulfillment in the hobbies you have, adventures you go on, and people you help, because you have the financial freedom to do so. If you love your job, that's awesome, but it's not realistic for many people. It's true, I believe that, but I think that when you go to work every single day,